Hey guys, welcome back to Reserved Investments on YouTube. And today I am bringing you breaking news that already broke. So it's broken news and not really breaking news because most of you probably, if you clicked on this video, you probably already know what I'm going to be talking about in this video because most likely you get these email alerts just like me, or you're on an online collecting forum and they're already talking about this. So if you are not aware, CGC Trading Cards is expanding into 11 other collectible card games. Right now, I think that they grade Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, and Pokemon. Well, with this particular announcement, they are now expanding into Digimon, Dragon Ball Super, Final Fantasy, Fire Emblem Cypher, Flesh and Blood, Force of Will, Harry Potter, MetaZoo, which I do have a video that's going to be premiering on this channel too on MetaZoo. My Hero Academia, I never honestly heard about that card game, so I don't know anything about that one. Y Schwartz, and World of Warcraft. So I consider this to be good for the overall market. I've said this before. The collectible trading card market from a third-party standpoint seems to be getting saturated, but if you look at the back catalog of particular items that PSA has yet to grade and also Beckett, I think it's a welcome development that we do have a new player in this particular space. It doesn't come without some criticisms though, guys, and I want you all to be aware. For those of you that have watched a lot of my videos on this channel, you know that I'm very big on third-party grading companies releasing population reports. As a matter of fact, I have gone against both WATA Games, to a lesser extent, AFA, BGA, and some of the others out there that are really dragging their feet when it comes to releasing population reports. And it's unfortunate that I have to say this in this video because I am a huge fan of CGC. Nothing against CGC, nothing against anything that they grade, nothing against their affiliates. But unfortunately, CGC Trading Cards does not have publicly made available population reports for the items they grade. Now, to be fair, they have done an excellent job in making this information readily available for the comic book side of their business, meaning if you collect vintage or even modern era graded comic books, you have access to the population reports and the census to see what items are out there in what specific grade. So if you want to try to analyze, like I just did a video on this, the optimal collecting grade for comic books, you can do that utilizing the population reports, utilizing other information that's out there based on value from like GP analysis, or even just looking over completed auctions through Comic Link or Heritage Auctions or even Hakes, whatever company you go through. So I want to be very clear though, it's unfair for me to target WATA Games or VGA or AFA without bringing up the fact that CGC Trading Cards has of yet to release population reports for the items they grade. So my main concern here is I see that they're expanding into other collectible card games. What I wish that they would do is at least devote some of that energy to at least releasing the population reports for the items they already graded. I think that this is key. And again, guys, I gotta bring this up because it's so important for a lot of you out there that speculate or invest in these items, or maybe you're just building a collection and you want that collection to grow in value. Having all available transparency and population reports to you so you can make an informed decision when you go into the market and buy this stuff is going to help you long-term regardless, or even short-term. Even if you're somebody that only plans to put together a collection, hold it for 3-4 years, you're still going to benefit from having that population information made available. So again, if this video does at least get 1,000, 2,000 views, I'm hoping somebody at CGC at least sees it so that they can at least do the right thing and start to release population reports for the items they grade. And this is something that, again, I am kind of concerned about because CGC already announced plans to get into video game grading. And I got to caution people, you know, WATA Games just released the population reports for the original Nintendo Entertainment System, for those particular items. We have yet to see population reports for the Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Sega Genesis, Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Game Boy, all those other systems, including even all the way back to the Atari 2600. I think it's going to be very eye-opening once we get a full analysis as to what's available out there that's already been graded. So this is key, guys. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I would never invest in rare coins the way that I do, if PCGS, if NGC, even if CAC themselves, who really are a third-party grading company of third-party grading companies, if they didn't keep accurate population reports, I would not be investing in these markets, nor would I have the faith in these markets over the short term or over the long term. One other thing I just want to talk about before we end this video is you need to understand that there are different mindsets at play who are active in these markets. You have the collectors, who I fully respect. I get that you guys have an attachment to this stuff, but at the end of the day, most collectors are not trying to quote unquote invest or speculate in these items over the short term or over the long term. After the collectors, you then get to the speculators. These are people, maybe they're collectors as well. Maybe they just have a passion for this stuff. These are people that do at least try to turn a profit over the short term on a lot of these items. Now, after the speculators, that's when you get to the investors. And what I do on this channel is really geared towards the investors who are interested in these markets and learning about how these markets work over the short term and over the long term. So I've said this before, it's very important. If you are a beginning investor in a lot of these markets, whether it's Pokemon, whether it's rare coins, whether it's artwork, antiques, whether it's action figures, whatever you do you. I want you to be happy doing you. But you got to understand that the more information that you have made available to you to make financial decisions in these markets is going to benefit you over the long term. It's no different like me. I invest in stocks. I invest in real estate. I invest in mutual funds, ETFs. I love poring over a lot of that financial data. And the more data I have, I can prove this to you guys, the more successful of an investor I am. It's no different in the antiques and collectibles trade. And what really worries me in the year 2021 going into 2022 is the fact that there's a lot of collectors that are coming into these markets. And they're so driven by nostalgia. They're so driven by the emotional attachment that they have to these items that they're not understanding the financial risks that they are undertaking by choosing to invest in certain markets in the antiques and collectibles trade. And again, it doesn't matter if you collect Pokemon cards, Magic the Gathering, video games, rare coins, artwork, antiques, whatever it is, you need to understand that the more knowledge, the more information you have made available to you, if you understand that information, if you're able to use it, you can profit from it. It's no different than Wall Street. It's no different than finance. It's no different if you live in an area and you live there for the last 20 years and you're thinking of buying your first investment real estate property. If you know that market and you go to that market and you buy a rental unit in that market, obviously, since you know the area, you're going to have more information available to you. And quite possibly, you're going to be a better investor as a result. You're going to make smart financial decisions. Well, we can apply those same concepts to the antiques and collectibles trade. And it's amazing, I'm going to say it, how many Timmys, Kimmies, and Poindexters do not understand that. I've said this before. Successful investors in these markets, they understand how they work. They have all the data they need to profit from these markets, whether it's over the short term or over the long term. It's the unsophisticated collector, the unsophisticated speculator that I worry about who comes into these markets with a credit card and thinks, oh, it's Pokemon. It's the most popular pop culture icon license of all time. Therefore, it's a safe investment. That is 100% false. I'm going to end this video just on a core thought that I want to put in your mind. You can live in a world where Pokemon, where Star Wars, where Marvel comic characters, where Disney are grossing billions at the box office. People love the products they create, and yet the vintage products do not go up in value on the secondary market. That can happen. That has happened in the past in the overall antiques and collectibles trade. And there's no guarantee that when a market declines, it's going to come back. Remember, collectibles are linear. Antiques are more cyclical. Use that knowledge to your benefit, and you can profit from it. if you know how. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.